We're too much in a hurry to kiss. We're too much in a hurry to touch. We're too much in a hurry to get married. We're skipping steps. Start with friendship. At the friendship level, no commitment for relationship yet. Nobody's kissing anybody and nobody's getting hot.
You're not catching feelings.
Feelings are things that you cannot say you will not catch. But they will come and they will go.
And love is not a feeling.
And love is not a feeling. You probably have had the experience of dating so many people. Now you don't even want to date again because you're tired. How many heartbreak have you gotten so far? How many more do you think you need to get?
Wow.
You can't tell me that God wanted us to learn about relationship through outbreak. You can navigate singlehood without being hot.
I think it's innately flawed, and that you have to meet like 1,000 people, 100, and go through processes to, in quote, learn from the experiences. It stays in your head that the first person you meet might not be the person that is for you, which is totally contrary to God's design.
What's God's design for love through marriage? So what if God had a clear path for us being born to how we're going to navigate being single till how we get married? What if God already had a system for us to navigate life without heartbreak and we are the ones skipping the steps? So in today's episode, we'll be talking about how God has established a system that allows us come into this world, get into relationships and get married without moving from dating apps to dating apps or just jumping from dating one person to dating another person. What's God's design for love through marriage? But today we won't be doing it alone. For this episode and a couple more episodes after this, it's my friend of over a decade plus now, and that's no other person than Ibelema Green.
Thank you, Ini. It's good to be here. It's good to be on this particular podcast. I'm particularly excited, but there's a slight anxiousness because I don't know how this is going to turn out. But what I do know is that there is a plan for which God has to navigate marriage, friendships, as Ini said, without the dating apps. And I'm excited to delve into it. So let's go.
Well, I grew up knowing fully well that the way relationship functions is, you get into school, you have a crush, then they say don't date your crush because, your crush will not last, so you don't do that, So it's a little bit more than crush. You have to be in love, you have to know the person. The norm of the time was, see a girl, be mesmerized by her beauty, approach her, tell her that I like you and I want to know you more. What that meant was I want to date you. I don't want to marry you yet. I intend to marry you in the future, but for now, I just like you to date you. I don't know if that was your story.
I think that's what we all got. I think it was a general conception of, and I also think it was probably fairy tales and storytelling, which is boy meets girl, girl meets boy, boy likes girl, girl likes boy back, and then there's an asking out. It's not particularly serious, but then as we go along, maybe chances are, if we decide at some point to take it according to how it was put to another level, then we proceed into marriage. If not, well, goodbye. Next.
So my question to you, before we dive in deeper, how's that working out for you? How many heartbreak have you gotten so far? How many more do you think you need to get?
Wow.
And if you are married, how did that process work out for you, really? How did it? Did you think that was God's best plan? Because as I look into scriptures now, I kind of see that there's a different parallel to this.
Okay.
God has a different plan. Because I wonder, Adam didn't date Eve. Yeah? The Bible has stories for a reason. Adam didn't date Eve. We say Jacob did the longest date. He didn't date for long. He made his intention known
At the very
from the very beginning.
yeah.
And he went to marry the girl, just like he didn't have what it required to get married to her at the time.
It's like he didn't have a
he had to work
tricked
bride
him,
price. He had to work for bride price.
which
Yeah.
is full commitment.
You know, so there's a God system. There's a God system. So what did we miss? Because you can't tell me that God wanted us to learn about relationship through outbreak. That doesn't sound like God. It doesn't describe God that he wanted you to date one person and say, okay, this didn't work out so well. Oh, I learned this lesson now. Okay, I would correct it in the next relationship. Then I fall in love again, which recently that falling in love has a completely different meaning, but let's not go into that. I fall in love again and I date somebody else and it doesn't work out again. Then maybe I date the third person and it finally works out and we are married and it feels like mini money more.
You know, I think society even has all these very beautiful cliches of you have to kiss like 1,000 frogs to get to the prince.
Wow.
You know, and
that's a lot of kissing.
That's a lot of kissing, you know. So, but it stays in your head that the first person you meet might not be the person that is for you, which is totally contrary to God's design. Because now that I'm sitting down and thinking about all the stories that I know in the Bible, the person they met first is the person that they married. Yeah. Isaac saw Rebecca.
Yeah.
That was the end. Abraham, Sarah. Joseph, Mary, you know, and even Joseph in Potiphar's time was giving a girl, and there was no dating process. He was just giving Asenat. I think that's her name. Why somebody's name is that's beyond me. But it was giving Asenat. So it was, they met the person, they committed. So I think it's innately flawed, and that you have to meet like 1,000 people, 100. And go through processes to, in quote, learn from the experiences. And then finally you become wise. And then you meet the person and you implement all these lessons that you've learned. I think our system doesn't work.
It's not working. I don't think it will ever work.
It doesn't work.
And just in case, you know, you are a deep student of the Bible, you would also be curious to think that, I mean, David didn't have the best of marriages. No, you know, I mean, if you want my one wife, you don't want to be like Jacob. Jacob now.
Yeah, Jacob, Leah, and Rachel.
You're also thinking in your head, what happened to, because I've had this thought also, what happened to Rebecca and Isaac, who Rebecca is now playing a role as a mother who is favoring one son over another. I don't want to have that kind of wife who manipulates things. You know, you also think about Joseph, like you mentioned. I think he married people from Egypt and was supposed to marry from our tribe. Yes, your thoughts are true and they are right. However, because it is possible that people use God's system and not use it to the fullest. And that's the thing we're trying to explain. You can be in God's system and divert some processes or skip some steps or try to say, let's try this other alternative.
So in other words, you're helping God.
You probably try to help God even if you're in the system and it will not work. That will make sense to you in a bit. So what is God's system? What is God's system? How did God make it that we should live, manifest, grow, and get all those things in? What did it work like? So I'd like to use the story of Mary and Joseph because, I mean, they're in the New Testament.
Okay.
And they gave birth to our Lord and Savior.
Okay.
So you can't argue with that. You can't argue with that.
With that particular love story.
With that particular love story. So this woman was young.
Yes.
And she already knew she was going to get married to Joseph. How did that happen? Because within the society at that time, you get married to somebody that's your friend. Somebody that you belong. First of all, you belong to the same tribe, which means that You are marrying somebody within your community. And by community, I don't mean
Locality or geography.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean you're marrying people that you believe the same thing in.
Same values,
You have the same
principles.
value, you have the same principle.
Okay.
Then from that community where you were giving birth to, you get married to a friend. So what's the process? You come into this world, and you come into this world through your parents, or sometimes not with your parents, but you are giving birth to in a community, whether you like it or not. Some of us just get into an island. That community brings us up. So the ideal thing is that you get born into a Christian home who raises you within Christian's values. Then that Christian home have different Christian friendships.
Okay.
Different Christian backgrounds.
Yeah.
They have friends.
Yeah.
You go to a school that is modeled with Christian people.
Yeah.
That's the ideal thing in an ideal world. Like people have said to me so many times, see, you can create your world, but let's not
We're
go
not
there.
going there.
You do that, then from that community, you start forming friendships. Because you can't be friends with everybody.
Definitely not.
Some people that already have the same value. So the people you're already mingling with, that are already within your community, they already have the same values as you. They have the same beliefs as you. That's established.
Mm-hmm.
Then you build friendships from a few people there. Some people now become one step closer to be your friend. You now have this friend, that friend who knows you a little bit more
than the rest
of the general community. From that friendship, you now decide that I've seen you, I've understood you, I know what God is calling you to do, and I think God is calling me to do the same thing. So I want to marry you. This just doesn't start romantic.
No.
And that's the problem.
I was thinking about that just now. Like, where is the flash? Where is the butterflies? Where is the romance? Where is the glitz and glamour? It sounds very perfunctory, where you're just thinking about you have the same value, I have the same value, we have talked for like a bit. It sounds very calculated.
So the thing is, God doesn't place romance over love. God places love over romance. What that means
and love is not a feeling.
And love is not a feeling.
Chai.
So how it works is you're supposed to be in love with your friends. So the people
in love with your friends.
Yes, you're supposed to love them.
Okay, now that we've accepted that love is not a feeling, that makes more sense to me in my head.
You're supposed to love.
You're supposed to love your friends. You're actually supposed to love your friends.
Yes. That's the basis of your friendship now, because they left being your community and they've moved
to
because you now had
a
more intense love for them, so you brought them into your core.
Yeah.
Now those are your friends. You are now doing life together. You are now doing purpose together. You are now rocking life with them, standing in for them, being there for them, understand what's going, sharing values, falling together,
standing together.
You are doing those things with your friends. So it's the community of friendship.
And these friendships are like-minded people from the same tribe.
Already.
Not geography. Already. Same tribe. Already. Same values.
Already.
So it's not outside your usual sphere. Okay.
So what happens is, before you even now get into the relationship that leads to marriage, which is what Jacob would say, I want to marry you, let's go see your parents. You already know everything about this person as friends.
Yeah.
You already know their shortcomings. You already know things that work. You know everything that you need to know to make a decision to get married.
Everything that you need to know.
There are things that you need to know to help you get married.
Yeah.
You need to know where they are going to in life.
Honestly.
You need to know their shortcomings that are not your shortcomings that you can live with. You need to know, okay, this it's not like their shortcomings is a sin.
No, it's just
but nobody is perfect. It's just something that they don't know how to do very well. Or this is fine by you. Then you see, okay, I would always add, you're also attracted to this person. You like what you see.
Thank you.
You like what you see. So all of these things are happening at the friendship level. No commitment for relationship yet. Nobody's kissing anybody and nobody's getting hot.
You're not catching feelings.
You now make the part. You feelings are things that you cannot say you will not catch, but they will come and they will go. That's why your feelings.
So you don't base your
decision
on something that is temporary.
They would always come and they will always go. Whether you are dating the person or you will eventually get married, that feelings come and they disappear. So you don't even need the feelings to make the decisions.
In fact, with friendships, I think it's a constant decision every day to be in the person's space, to love the person, because you're making a decision to cheer the person on, stand with the person, confront them in their weaknesses, celebrate their wins.
Exactly.
So it's a decision you're making every day, and it's not based on, I don't really feel like talking to you today. This is your friend.
And the thing about friendship is that it puts you in that zone where your love will be tested.
So this friend zone thing is actually a very good thing.
It's a great place. It's just not with the way they zone people.
Yeah.
It puts your love to the test, because now I don't feel like talking to you. Yeah, that's my emotions. But I talk to you anyway because you're my friend. Yeah. And that's what's going to happen in marriage.
Yeah. True. So maybe that day you're in a quiet, introspective kind of space, but you receive a phone call from your friend, and it's regardless of how you feel,
you pick the call.
You pick the call because this is your friend that is calling.
And you can say, I don't feel like talking now.
And they will understand.
Exactly. You don't have the pressure of saying, are you not my lover? Are you not?
Don't you understand?
Don't you know that I want to talk to you?
That I need quiet time. All
that's
that
not
drama
God's
is
plan.
not
You
there.
see that drama, you picked it up from somewhere that's not from God. Because in marriage, you can have that conversation. I'm feeling a little bit down today. I can't be all this today. And marriage tells you,
it's okay.
You'll be that tomorrow.
I'll give you space for it. I will hold space for you.
Friendship allows you to have honest conversation without the fear of you will not leave me.
Or you will hurt me.
You can tell them what you are doing is not okay. And if they leave, then you know that you're not supposed to be in that friendship circle.
Exactly.
So they're not living at the point where you've gone to make committed relationship that your heart will now break and say, you broke my heart. You told me the truth. I don't like the way you talk to me.
Most of the time, it's us that even get into this drama space, because if we focus on just being friends.
We skip the step. We replace friendship for dating.
But really,
dating is supposed
I
to
think
be.
in friendship, you even date safe.
That's because you go out.
Yeah, you're
so
going
the literal
out.
term of dating is getting to know somebody without any commitment and all of that. You have all of that inside of friendship already. You don't need to single it out from the conversation.
No, this person is the person that you're catching feelings for.
You are going out. You can even tell your friend, it seems like catching feeling for you, but let's leave this feeling something for now. Let's be knowing each other.
Let's walk
because
this out.
friendship doesn't put you under pressure to not be yourself.
Yeah.
And that's why I said in friendship, you know the person well enough to make the decision if you can get married. Because what now happens is that when you are able to express love at God's prescription of love. In case you don't know what love is, let me tell you what love is. It's in 1 Corinthians 1:13.
Patience.
Don't go and deceive yourself. Anything outside of that is not love. That's the definition of love. And that's what you practice in friendship.
Yeah.
Then from that place, what I tend to be the ultimate reason to marry somebody, purpose. You now marry them not because you could love them. The love we have defined, agape love. You now marry them. You don't also marry them not because you are attracted to them, because you'll be attracted to many people.
And feelings.
You now marry them not because you felt those feelings, because the feelings will come and pass.
They will pass.
All those things are ingredients that will be needed to make your decision.
Sure.
The ultimate reason to now marry them will now be shared purpose. What is purpose? What God has called me to do.
Is this where
is connected to what God has called you to do. And that's why I like to use Mary and Joseph. God has called me to bring the Savior to the world.
And I can father that child.
And God has called you to father the child.
And take care of me in the process.
And we know from the beginning, we are still friends now. So Joseph, you can walk away. We're not married.
Which is what he even wanted to do.
And but purpose was clear. Yes, as my friend.
I want to
leave
put you away quietly.
I won't disgrace you.
You get?
But purpose was the ultimate qualifier. This is my purpose.
Yeah.
And I'm asking you to also walk in your purpose. Be the supporting rock to Mary. Carry her through the process. Father the child until it becomes of age.
That's so sustainable though. Like, that's the ingredient for staying long in a marriage. That's the thing.
Both of you know what you're waking up to do. Because many times you wake up and you won't feel love, you won't feel friendship, you won't feel excitement. But guess what? You feel purpose.
We know that this is what we're supposed to do.
This is what we're supposed to do. So you see, you shouldn't even be talking about marriage if you don't know purpose. I get it.
The maturity check.
If you are married already, I tell you that God is merciful. He can reveal your purpose to you in marriage. But if you are single and you are hearing this information, don't play with mercy. Find the purpose for a year married. God has a way of redeeming, showing them mercy and helping them.
He does.
Because they're not hearing what you're listening to now. If you are listening to this podcast now and you want to attempt to play with mercy, it might not end up well for you. So you want to be in the position where you know purpose.
No, I don't think you realize the depth of the thing you said. So let me break this thing down for you guys, right? So if you're single and you're hearing this, there's the tendency that, like me, who is single, you're going, it don't reach your turn now. They want to remove all the flower and the feelings and all that. But the truth is, the thing that makes you stay, that takes you away from this microwave sort of, we're not feeling it anymore, so everybody is going their separate ways, is the thing that keeps you in friendships. And if you're really honest, when you guys are friends and you have like a common goal, you know what you're doing together, it's easy. I think the principle just works everywhere, not just in relationships. Think about businesses that last. They have a common goal. So whether they feel like or not, whether the emotions or the butterflies are there's something that we need to accomplish to get this thing done. The ingredients are fine and they will come, but it's the maturity to say, it's the way you treat your friends, the people you call your guys. The fact that you don't feel like talking, but you see a number on that phone and this is your person, you're going to pick up the phone. You're going to have the conversation, and if you cannot even invest for that, you will listen first. The thing that makes you stay there is the thing that makes you stay long in marriage. I think we just uncovered the hack.
Well, we didn't just uncover it. It has always been in the Bible.
And it's the one that we did not see.
Yeah, but you're seeing it now.
Yeah.
So you see, somebody might also be asking, so what happens if somebody, recommends somebody for you? There's this person I know that might be great for you. There's nothing wrong with that.
Go and sit down.
Because the person who should be recommending the person to you
should be in your circle.
Already
should be in
your circle. So they already know people who have shared values
with you.
When you meet this person, you start with friendship.
There's no pressure,
too
really.
Much in a hurry to kiss.
But kissing is nice.
Outside of marriage is really not.
Kissing is nice.
We're too much in a hurry to kiss. We're too much in a hurry to touch. We're too much in a hurry to get married we're skipping steps. And if a married person who has skipped steps is listening to this podcast now and they are being honest, they will tell you, I shouldn't have skipped those steps. The thing about the kingdom is that you don't skip classes.
You repeat.
If you jump, you shall go back. It doesn't matter.
It will come back.
So people who are married would have to go back to this stage and start doing the work. So if you are married, you've not built friendship, you just have to start doing it.
Inside the marriage.
And here's why that community is important. Not even the community of getting married, now the community of friendship. And not just friendship, just the community of shared values. That's where you grow. People like you tell you you're not doing well in this area.
And you don't like it.
You don't like it, but make you
because
grow.
there is a mutual understanding of we are going somewhere.
Exactly.
You're going to take it properly. You process it well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're telling you from love.
Yeah, you know.
When they say it takes a village, It really does take a village.
Does
But it
take a
takes a
village.
village of the same community.
Exactly.
So because some things would have been said to you in your nuclear family, your mom and your siblings are trying to work on some habits, work on some traits that are not very great. There's a tendency that you might overlook it or you don't get it. But God puts another layer outside the community who says, still looking what you need to grow. So, because entire purpose of all of this is that you become like him. So, marriage is not your idea.
It's his idea.
It's his idea to get you to be like him, to fulfill a purpose he has called you to do. It's not asking you to get married so you feel good about yourself.
Tick a box.
Your marriage is not, the marriage is not something you're supposed to just, I've married. My ring.
It's a nice ring too.
That's not the reason for getting married. So the end picture for God is that the moment you came into this world, he started making you to be like him from conception. Your parents were already supposed to know who you were supposed to be before you came. And they were supposed to grow you like that. If they didn't, that's fine. That's not really fine. But God has another plan.
It's not fine, but there's
He
a
has
layer
different
outside.
layers. You are now being groomed in the house.
So it's basically
They are grooming you
being
wrongly.
unwrapped.
There's another layer outside.
Another layer, just so
You
that
skip
you become.
the community. You didn't get everything. Maybe some things filter away in the community. There's friendship.
Yeah.
Some things are not going. Then there's marriage. That's not supposed to remove it because there are some parts that people will not see. There's some parts of you your parents are not allowed to experience.
Yeah.
There's some parts of you your community are not allowed to experience. There are some parts of your layer that your friendship are not allowed to experience. You can only experience those parts in marriage. So marriage uncovers the final depth of you.
And if you don't enter inside the marriage properly,
so if you skip the layers to enter the marriage, you'll be uncovering the parts that you're supposed to have uncovered since in marriage. You'll be quarreling with the person.
Yeah.
And you might most likely not enjoy the marriage or leave that marriage because you've skipped steps.
And it's very amazing how it will now affect you as a parent.
Yeah.
And then your kids will get into that circle and you'll be reliving the things that you were not supposed to be reliving through them. And if you don't heal that, it now affects them and there's a perpetual cycle.
It keeps going around. Because that's why purpose is the ultimate qualifier. Because when you are married, purpose defines everything you people do. How many kids you are supposed to have will be defined
of kids you
by
want to
purpose.
have.
Because both of you already knew where you were going to. So that would define, we're supposed to have one. Our purpose allows us to only have one and nurture one well. No, we're supposed to have 8. Our purpose allows us to do 8 and nurture. Why are you doing your face like that?
8.
Yes, people have that in their purpose. We're supposed to have that. It allows you to do that and do that well.
So it won't even be because of economy.
No.
It won't be because of, status or census or what is trendy.
No.
It will just basically be.
No.
And you'll be able to. Funny enough, you will thrive in it because I'm thinking about the 8 and I'm like, why do I want to have 8 in this life?
If that's
8.
your purpose, you are equipped to handle it.
It's not.
You are equipped to handle it. And in that place, you get to do everything. So you raise those kids. Because you had your purpose, you bet kids within the DNA of your purpose.
So something really frightening. Not frightening, but, light bulb came into my head. You can be so in line with your purpose and with the person also in their purpose, and you guys decide that you're not having kids, you're adopting.
Exactly. Purpose will not allow you to
totally fine. Because thinking about it, I just realized that I know people who have been married for years and maybe through some complication or something they couldn't have kids. And they're fine. Like the things that worry regular people about you have been married since and all that, it doesn't touch them. Exactly. You feel like they're under a bubble or something. It doesn't touch them, but they're impacting lives of different people's children. People call them mother and father that are not even blood related to them, and it's fine with them. They are living. There are a lot of things that I think purpose shields you from, exposes you to, and just generally helps you navigate with more fulfillment and joy.
It does. And it's if you are fighting with this information, I actually don't blame you.
It's hard, Shao.
I fought with it too.
I'm still fighting.
It didn't make sense for a while.
We're here.
I needed to see the entire picture to make it make sense. Even when it made sense,
It still did not make sense.
practicing it was a problem because you need to change your programming.
Yeah,
to be able
because
to
how
do
do you
certain
move
things.
from Android to Apple?
You just changed your phone.
I've been using Android since now. I have to check, and it's a whole complete overhaul. This thing that is the mindset. Have you ever tried it?
So you see, I'm sure you understand the analogy. Did both devices do the same things as a phone, but they do it differently, they operate differently, they function differently.
The functions are different.
So you would need to learn your new operating system.
Ooh.
You need to learn the Kingdom operating system.
And you have to learn it. That's the operative word. It's a learning process.
You would have to learn it.
It's a learning process.
You would have to tell people you feel emotions too that let's be friends first. And sadly, you would have to tell some of your friends that we can't be friends anymore because they don't just meet up your value in the first place. God designed us to protect us from the beginning. Like, it's not like you just threw us here and said, figure it out by yourself.
No, love is kind. That's what I'm just realizing, the kindness of the design of God in making us. Love is kind. Like, things are put in place. If you follow the principles, if you follow the frameworks that are laid out, it doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be fun.
It actually, at the end of the day,
it's
fun and fancy. It's just that we've redefined what
fun and fancy is. Yeah.
We've taken I wanted to use the word cosmetic, but you might not understand. We've
If
taken,
you know.
we've taken
The cosmetic, the makeup, the cover up.
Yeah, the cover up of fun.
Yeah.
As to the original
Design
for fancy and fun.
Yes.
So we've taken the cover up version.
Yes.
And the cover up version wasn't God's plan. God's original plan
And it's
was
just shallow.
You know, if you are in your 20s and it doesn't even matter the year you want to get married, you should be investing in building like-minded communities and picking friends as people who work together with you. We're not saying you would marry one of the friends you know now. It might not be any of the people you know now. It might be one of the friends you know who would introduce you to another friend later on. It might be somebody else who come into your circle. But what we are saying definitely now is you can navigate singlehood without being hurt.
That's a relief.
When your friends leave you, it will pain you.
It does.
But you will not be heartbroken. I mean, they didn't take your full identity away.
The essence of what makes you.
They didn't take that exclusive. Because that's what really breaks our hearts.
It's not that
We've
they
giving
left.
somebody something exclusive about ourselves, but they didn't take that. They took a third layer.
Yes.
You had two more layers that they had not even seen yet. So it will pain you, yes, but you won't be heartbroken. You won't be heartbroken and be feeling like, where do I start from again? You know, you probably have had the experience of dating so many people. Now you don't even want to date again because you are tired. Because when will you start telling people this is who I am? I don't wake up early in the morning. I like this.
It's like all those memes where they say that you're already tired of your talking stage and your talking stage has not even started yet.
Exactly. You know why you're feeling that way? You have skipped steps. You do not have friends. You only have people who you are dating. and they don't know you, and you are tired of introducing yourself to people.
Yeah, because it's tiring. What's the color of your
You need to go
your
back.
dress?
You're tired of explaining your favorite color.
It is bad.
You're tired. Because if somebody new comes into your circle, you
As
wouldn't
in-
need to explain.
as in,
Everybody
right?
will say, oh, our favorite color is purple. You knew already. You don't even need to be asking questions.
You're like,
oh,
has it changed?
she doesn't eat in the morning. Oh, she doesn't. Oh, cool, me too. I don't like it in the morning. You see, God made it to walk. But you say you skip steps. Like,
That's
don't
why
have
now you're
friends
doing
again.
PowerPoint presentation because of talking stage. So in case they ask you the question, you can just send the PDF file to them, like read up.
Do you know
read
that your
about
friends
it.
would even know how much you are making?
Yeah.
You won't be secrets.
Yeah.
So your finances are clear.
Yeah.
You know how much you are bringing. They know how much
And
you
they
are
also know
bringing.
your bad habits.
Everybody knows everything. Everybody can talk with everybody. But you know what we do with friends? We keep friends that we don't grow with. And we say, the husband will deal, or the wife will deal with that bad habit. So we don't even do
We don't
friendship
even do authentic
at
friendships.
the places where God has called us to do the friendship. So you see that for every stage, we have filtered the real essence and we're taking a diluted version of what is supposed to be. So, and you know, if you are trying to do a cake and you are using bad eggs, the flour has small,
inside.
you know the ingredient, the cake will not come out well. And that's why, even if you manage to get married, the marriage is not working the way God said it should work. Because you've baked the cake wrongly. Because some people do that. They mix it anyway, they make the cake anyway, then they put something fine on top. Anyways, but the problem is when you want to eat it, you know it's not ready.
That's not a cake.
It's not ready. For some people, as they are mixing it, they still just go by like, oh, I mixed rubbish. So you don't get married, you're still single, you are tired of mixing, and we're saying you need to get God ingredients. Community first.
In the right measure.
Community first. Yes. Find people who are like you.
Yeah.
Scratch that. Find people who are like God. Reflection of you. Don't find people like you. You on your own, you are a bad image. You want people who are going and believing and wanting the same thing as God.
Yeah.
You find them.
Yeah.
You grow with those people. You grow with those community. You walk with them. You know? So you have to build your community. Nobody builds your community for you. You have to go find it, then get yourself plugged into it. Then from your community, you are going to find friendships. Like, it's going to be a natural progression that within that community where everybody is mutual, there's some people that you just gravitate to more naturally. You find friendship. From your friendship, you find everything you need for marriage, but you also make that decision based on purpose.
When you say that and about, finding community, finding your friendships, forming them, curating them, and ultimately building your life based on purpose, it also belies the fact that you would need to understand the God image that you have also. Because if you don't know what you want or know who you are, you're going to pick the wrong people. If you don't know where you are going, trust me, you're just going to pick the wrong people. Because now you don't even know what you're looking for in terms of friendships. You're just following a mob, following a crowd, or just being swept by every whim, every trend. So there's also the place where you do the work. It starts with you, because ultimately you're going to bring the very version of your God self to your friendships. And that's what you're going to be working and growing. Now, will you make mistakes? Yes, but it's work in progress, But you have to be... So this is what you bring to the table. You are the table. You will bring everything to the table, your God experiences, your God life, your purpose, because that now helps you mix the ingredients together. You are the general binding factor in that. Amazing. Amazing.
So you see, God has a system.
Yeah, it does.
And that system is a beautiful system.
And it works.
And it works.
And it works.
It works.
It does.
It works.
It works.
You find Mary, you find Isaac. He walks with Adam and Eve.
Even Ruth.
You find
Very weird.
Ruth and Boaz. So the exact method will be different for different people.
Yeah.
But the principles are going to be the same.
The same.
How will be okay. Your story will be, this is how we met. We're going to have different how we met stories. But if you find underneath it that the principles are going to be the same.
A common underlying factor would be the purpose.
Are going to be the same.
Yeah.
Are going to be the same.
Yeah.
So, and you want to be able to find that, because for God and His kingdom, I mean, it's more than crush. It's more than it's way more than feelings. It's way more than dating. God has a system, and this is God's system, and you can walk your way with that system to marriage. And if you're already married and you skip classes, you might need to go back intentionally before conditions of life force you to go back. Because in the kingdom, we don't skip classes.
I have an unpopular or contrarian thought that just entered my head in this matter now. Because, so maybe in the following segments, we're going to touch it. But when people say that, so what of people who are not with God and have sustainable marriages? Muslims that have stayed together for years, or people that don't even know God but are working, that have been together for
What's
years.
What's your definition of sustainable marriages? Okay, so what is asking now, definition for sustainable marriages would be they're not
divorced,
they have a measure of peace in the marriage.
Yes.
They have kids that they are grooming properly. And I mean, they feed the kids, they send them to school. There's peace in their home, and that's success. Well, that's not God's definition for a successful marriage. God's definition for those are byproducts of a successful marriage in God's kingdom. God's definition for a successful marriage is the same as the definition for a successful life. You did what He said you should do. So you lived your marriage purpose that He said that was your marriage purpose. So if you go back to Mary and Joseph, success would be bringing Jesus and
to the world and grooming Him until it was time for Him to.
Elizabeth's success wasn't just peace, understanding, they chose right, the husband is a priest and all of that. Was bringing the forerunner to the world and nurturing him in that light so he could do what he was called to do. So they had a successful marriage. That they gave birth to John and said that they wanted to leave Israel at the time, or move to Africa.
Or even worse, they gave birth to John and decided that they wanted to call him Zachariah.
So that's success.
Okay.
Because John nobody had been named John in that
before, family. The Bible said. Never.
The Bible
because even people were like, maybe something is wrong with him because he's not talking. And
it could be a good story. He would have made up a good story.
Yeah.
Oh, after so many years, you had no baby, and you named after your father's lineage. Oh, wonderful, amazing. Hey.
We now have another Zachariah in the family.
But that's what we can clap for here. That's not what everyone's clap for. Everyone claps for obedience to purpose.
And we need to always live for the applause of heaven.
So, therefore, nobody can tell you what success is for your marriage apart from you and the person who called you to get married.
Yeah.
So that's all we can take for this episode. Like, comment, argue. No, not argue. Just share your perspective.
Share.
These
critically.
things can be a bit different to take in and perceive. And we're willing to talk to you and share with you. But what you need to know is Belema will be here for 3 more episodes, and this is going to be fire. So see you on the next episode.
See you next.
Bye-bye.
Bye.